Hello everyone! Happy Friday and welcome back to Scarlet Hollow. If you can't tell by the sound of my voice, I am still a little under the weather, but every day it's getting better. Quite unlike what's happening in Scarlet Hollow. When last we left off, we were searching for Stella and Gretchen, who had gone missing after our eventful night in Oscar's home. Where, oh where could they be? Time to find out. Picking up right where we left off. Where to next? We should check in on Oscar. He's smart. Maybe he'll know what to do. I hope nothing else happened after we all went home last night. You're so brave for sleeping in that house after everything we went through. I'd rather sleep in the woods with the ditchlings than someplace that was that haunted. Your mom said it's safe, and I'm inclined to believe her. Why would she lie? But how would she know that? Magic, probably. But there's only one way to find out. Let's go. Morning light streams in through the library's large windows. In the bright daylight, it's once again a place of comfort, all menace having fled in the wake of Charles Shaw Jr.'s departure. We're still running his dad out on the rail, though. No ghost, thank God. I was not up for an encore. Yeah, it's gone, just like your mom said it would be. You can't help but overhear the murmurings of an intense conversation coming from the mayor's office. Talk to animals, or rather, the murmurings of an intense animal conversation. Oh, we're investigating that conversation. You start making your way upstairs towards the mayor's office. Hey, where are you going? A small gang of dogs holds court in the mayor's office. Most of the dogs quietly watch from the sidelines, with two of them, a sheepdog and a basset hound, are in a heated conversation with Mayor Jimmy. Their tags read Scraps and Daisy. It sounds like you've all sorted this out. I don't see what you need me to do about any of it. Sorted? Things ain't sorted until this town is safe. Now, we may have got the beginnings of a militia together, but there's plenty of pets out there who are still ill-informed about those things crawling out of the woods. You're the mayor. They'll listen to you. Just tell them to stay inside until it's handled. Listen, Scraps, buddy, I hear you, but the last thing we need right now is anarchy on the streets. It's no use. I told you he'd be bullheaded. He's always bullheaded. Always the sore loser, aren't we, Daisy? Things are fine. Nobody has to worry about a thing. The mayor pulls away from the conversation to acknowledge you. Oh ho ho, I remember you. You're that out-of-towner from yesterday, the speaker. The other dogs murmur amongst themselves for a moment, then turn to face you. I'm sorry you had to see this little display. Politics can get so messy. Have any of you seen or smelled Gretchen? She and her person are missing. Is she missing? Oh dear, Scraps, you don't think. Gretchen's person would never let that happen to her. Wherever she is, I'm sure she's safe from those things. A dog like her doesn't get to that age without a watchful human at her side. Even if she's safe, I don't like the sound of this. See, Jimmy? This is the cost of inaction. Gretchen is a pillar of our community, and she's missing. What will it take for you to finally open your eyes and do something? If you wait until you're the last dog left in Scarlet Hollow, it'll be far too late to save yourself. Yes, I get it. You're all very upset. But what do you expect me to do about it? Shut down the town? What about economy? Do you even know what economy is, Jenny? Or are you just throwing around fancy words you've heard the humans say? Maybe nobody knows what economy is. Of course I know what economy is. I know all about economyism. Oh, good, because I've never understood a lick of what humans of it when humans talk about economy. I just figured it was just a made-up word they yell at each other when they want to stop talking. Yes, Daisy, that is what that word is. So please, enlighten us. I'm not going to debase myself by playing a game of trivia, not in front of the speaker. I thought so. To your question, we did catch a whiff right around here and another near her house. Haven't picked up anything around town since then. Let's hope those creatures haven't gotten to her. Can you help us find her? You've got better noses for this sort of thing. We'll do our best. We didn't intend to make any more trips out into the woods, but if it's for Gretchen, we'll take that risk. She's a well-liked dog in these parts. Been around longer than any of us. It'll be a blow to the community for her to fall victim to these monstrosities. Mr. Mayor, you should listen to Daisy and Scraps on this one. There won't be anarchy in the streets to worry about if every animal in town is taken by ditchlings. Your opinion is noted, but I've been mayor for over 14 years. I know what I'm doing. That's 14 dog years, Jimmy. If you're not going to help, the least you can do is not blow smoke up the speaker's ass. I suppose you were right, Daisy. This was just a waste of time, but I needed to hear it with my own ears before I could really believe it. I'll save the I told you so for later. Let's go rally the others. This town won't save itself. You and the dogs exit the mayor's office and close the door behind you. They quickly turn a corner and vanish from your line of sight. You find Kanika and Avery waiting for you in the lobby. I took a peek in there. You just had a full-on conversation with those dogs. It is so weird when you do that. Does this sort of thing happen a lot with Vinny? Yeah, it takes some getting used to. After last night, I took a whole lot more than Vinny having a conversation with a gang of dogs to faze me. I guess Oscar must be in the back. I know that's where I'd be if I finally managed to unhot my house. I've always been surprised at how unsupervised this place is. Sometimes it feels like anyone could just walk in and do whatever they wanted. Like what? Steal books? I mean, they could, right? I'm not saying anyone would. I'm just saying that people in this town trust each other. A lot. It's nice. Let's go find Oscar. You make your way back towards the annex. It feels strange to be back in the light of the day, as if the events of the previous evening were all just a terrible dream. This hallway really takes me back. It feels like it was only yesterday that we were last here, blissfully unaware that our entire lives were about to change forever. It was only yesterday. I know. Kanika knocks on the door. Oh, good morning. It's so good to see all of you. Please come on in. Oh, it's you. You're doing really great, Rosalina. Not a lot of kids your age can take shots that well. You're being so brave. You don't have to talk to me like I'm 5. But you are brave. You really are, Rosalina. You're like so badass. Alexis is right. This is more than most people have to deal with in their whole lives, and here you are taking it like a champ. Dr. Kelly's kind demeanor vanishes as she turns and glares at you. Oh, I see we have visitors. How are you doing, Rosalina? Tired. My leg hurts a lot. But the medicine is helping. It's not so bad now. Plus, I got to lie down in an actual bed last night, and you have no idea how good that felt. Thanks, Vinny. I can't believe you got any sleep last night after all that ghost stuff. I just sat on the couch with all the lights on. I don't think I slept at all. I really needed some rest after, the hospital and my foot. Your body is desperately trying to get you to rest. All that activity yesterday was pretty brutal on your injury. It's never going to stop hurting if you keep pushing yourself. So, what are you not going to do today? Anything? That's right. You're staying right here. No walking around, no investigating haunted houses. Sorry, Dr. Kelly. I should have been better at stopping her. I take full responsibility. As her father, I have no need for anyone to step in to take blame for anything. It's the hospital's fault for sending her home at all. It's gross negligence, if you ask me. Okay, yeah, Dr. Kelly, you're right on that one. As someone who's been through a major surgery myself. But give it time. Then you can do all the activities you want. Alright, Rosalina? I'm guessing Charlie didn't come back for an encore. Not as far as I know. I slept in Rosalina's room, and I made sure to put some heavy objects on top of the hatch, just to give myself a little extra peace of mind. But nothing happened. That's good enough for me. I didn't see anything either. But even if something did happen, I wouldn't know. I was asleep as soon as my head hit the pillow. I'm too tired to worry about ghosts anymore, to be honest. Losing a limb will do that, especially if you decide to tromp around the next day like nothing happened. I would have been fine if it weren't for Charlie. Good thing he's gone then, and let's hope he stays gone. Wait, Oscar, did you tell Dr. Kelly about... Yeah, I told her everything. He did. I'm sorry that happened. Dr. Kelly's still gaze is impenetrable. It's impossible to tell if she genuinely believes Oscar's story or if she's decided she'd be better off humoring him. Have any of you seen Stella since last night? Not since dinner. She hasn't gotten in touch with any of you? Nope, we have no clue where she's gone. That's not good. I haven't seen her since she ran off last night. I feel terrible. I should have done a better job warning her. Oscar, stop throwing yourself under a bus, dude. Stella was practically banging down your door trying to get evidence of ghosts. I don't think you were going to be able to stop her. There was no way you could have known how she would react when she found it. I don't even think she knew how she'd react. And besides, you didn't know how bad it was going to get. You can't blame yourself for everything, man. I know you probably feel like it's your responsibility to make sure everyone around you is okay, but sometimes that's just not going to be possible. You're only one guy. That's what Rosalina's always saying. I suppose I do apologize more than I should. You really do. How's Reese? He's fine. Had a rough night, but he'll recover. He's used to this sort of thing. He just needs a couple of days to get back on his feet. That means no more excitement, not even a movie. I'm sorry to hear that, Dr. Kelly. I will respect this boundary and not bother either of you anymore. That sounded suspiciously like sarcasm, but I'll choose to believe you mean it. You remain silent. So, you've got your meds, you've got your nest of pillows, a helpful friend by your side, and a cat to keep you company. Seems like you're all set. Make sure you do a whole lot of nothing today. I will. Bye, Dr. Kelly. Yes, thanks again for coming down to see us, Joan. Not a problem. I'd much rather she stay put than have to get in and out of cars. I'll call later today to see how things are going. Hope the rest of the week is less eventful for the both of you. Goodbye, Rosalina. Make sure you stay put and keep Pixel company, okay? Don't worry, Doc. Oh, don't worry, Doc. I'll keep her warm. I'm helping. Dr. Kelly's features harden once again as she steps towards the door. And then she pushes past you to leave Oscar's house. We'll let you kids have some space. Alexis, why don't you figure out a restful activity for you and Rosalina? Will do, Mr. Gutierrez. I brought some video games and puzzles from my house, and some movies too. Whatever you want to do, Rosalina. Oscar ushers you down back to the library. What's up? Everything okay? Yeah, everything's fine, or at least much better than yesterday. I can't thank you all enough. I'd like to be as helpful as I can from here on out. Now that our little situation is dealt with, I finally have time to dig into the town archives. Our house was haunted because someone was murdered there. The mine collapse the other night was at the site of a mass grave. With enough research, maybe we'll be able to get a step ahead of the next crisis. Maybe we can actually preempt it. That is, assuming there's going to be a next crisis, but something tells me we aren't in the clear yet. We should compare notes. Not that I have any to start with, but if you know anything that might narrow down my research, it could save a lot of time. I don't think we actually know that much more than you do, but I've got some hunches. I can't help but feel like there must have been some inciting event since everything started getting weird seemingly overnight. What that inciting event was or where to start looking for it, I have no idea. But it's something to keep in mind. The death of Pearl Ann? Avery stares at you. Oh no, no Avery. I mean, it's obvious, right? Things only started happening once Vinny got here. Kanika shoots Avery a glare. No, we are not throwing Vinny under the bus. What? There's nothing wrong with being a magical catalyst. Sure, there's probably nothing wrong with someone being a magical catalyst, but there's definitely something wrong with saying someone's a magical catalyst. If people get the wrong idea, we're only a couple steps away from the whole town deciding to shaw her. Nobody's going to drag Vinny into a witch hunt on my watch. I like to think we've outgrown the days of running people out of town on rails. I'd rather play it safe. Don't worry, it's not like I'm going to run around telling everyone that Vinny magicked a bunch of terrible disasters into existence. But if there's a catalyst for all this, why wouldn't it be a lost Scarlet finally coming back to Scarlet Hollow? If I may, Vinny getting into town isn't the only major event that happened lately. Pearl Ann died over a week ago, and those creatures in the woods were already reproducing by the time she arrived. That's what I said. Not to mention, I started seeing things in our house before Pearl Ann passed, I think. I never thought to make a note of exactly when the spirit made itself known. Maybe it was when my mom died? There's a root cause for all of this. Hopefully there's a way to put the genie back in its bottle. I'm going to do my best to find out if there have been any similar events and whether there's anything special about Scarlet Hollow that might explain what's going on. We've been finding some weird stone seals. There was one in the mines and another in your basement. There might be more. These are those carvings you mentioned last night, right? To think there was something like that under my house all this time. And to think someone must have put it there. But who? A Scarlet. A Scarlet definitely put it there. This gives me quite a few threads to follow. Thank you, Vinny. Why don't we go down to the basement and take a closer look at the sill that's there? The ghost isn't around anymore, so no harm in it, right? I would personally rather not go back to the creepy basement with the corpse in it, but that carving is probably the most solid lead we have at this point. Not a chance. I know the ghost is probably gone for good, but that thing is evil, and if there's even the slightest chance that going back down there triggers something, it's not worth disturbing. At least not until we know more. Are you sure? Kanika's right. It's a solid lead. I'm absolutely sure. My daughter's safety comes first right now. We finally have our house back, and I'm not taking any risks until we know what we're dealing with. No arguments here. I wonder if this could be the work of some sort of cult. You mentioned something like this at the library the other day. If there was a cult in Scarlet Hollow, I feel like I'd know about it. Know any local cults that could be responsible? Let's not get all satanic panic just yet. I know it's not looking unlikely at this point, but having lived in this town all my life, I feel like I would know if there was a cult that ran the place. I think that means you'd actually be less likely to know if a cult ran the place, because to you that would just be normal. That's the thing about living in a more enclosed community, is what is normal outside of that community is a lot harder to really fathom. It seems like the kind of thing that wouldn't be easy to keep secret in a place as small as Scarlet Hollow. I'd love to be a part of some weird religious cult just to see what kind of stuff they get up to, but alas, either I've never been invited or there are none to be found in the holler. It could just be the... Okay, your mother is definitely involved in a cult, and I think it's probably just like the founding families. I don't even know of any in public record. Even in the 70s, when cults were a dime a dozen and hippies were flocking to the hills, someone put the carvings there. It was probably the Scarlets with the help of other founding families. Make sure Pixel stays inside, or he might get grabbed by ditchlings. The ditchlings are those things from the woods, right? With those faces? Yeah, the English doughboys. I kinda like them. It's like a hidden object game out there today with all the weird little faces peering out of the bushes. Like them? Are we talking about the same creatures that have been laying eggs in the local wildlife? I don't want to get friendly with them or anything. That is not what you said. That is not what you said, Avery. I just think they're kinda interesting. To each their own. Will do. I can't imagine how devastated Rosalina would be if something were to happen to him, especially after everything she's been through. I think there's something in the clinic. There was this door yesterday, and I could feel something pulling me towards it. You didn't mention anything like that yesterday. I see. I'll dig up what I can on the clinic. There's a lot of history there. I wouldn't be surprised if there's something haunting that place as well. You have a friend that lives there, right? Should we tell him that something bad might happen in his house? He might want to stay someplace else for now if the last few nights are any indication. Yeah, I can shoot Reese a warning text, but I don't know if his mom will let him leave. She's got an iron grip on the poor dude, and she's probably even more of a skeptic than I am. Or... was. It's a shame she preemptively shot down our movie night. It would have been the perfect cover. After last night, I don't think there's a perfect cover. There's no way she's letting us anywhere near her house. She's the only doctor in town. She can't just ban people from the clinic, right? I don't think so, but hopefully nobody gets sick or hurt enough to justify a visit over the next couple of days. If we're going to investigate the clinic, I think we're going to have to break in. Whoa, that is unexpected coming from you. It's what Stella would do, and she's been 3 for 3 this week when it comes to finding spooky stuff. She's also been 3 for 3 when it comes to finding her way into mortal peril. This is why we have to find her as soon as possible. It shouldn't fall on me to suggest we do something dangerous. I'm terrible at selling it. It's not that I don't think we should figure out what's going on in there. We just need to be cautious about what we do next. I don't want anyone to get attacked or possessed by any more ghosts, even if it is to help a friend. I don't know if we have time to play it safe. Just give me a day or two to do some research before you do anything rash, okay? Whatever we're doing next, I feel we're missing a vital team member. We need to find Stella, and fast. I agree. Her brazen energy if we're going to... We need her brazen energy if we're going to do any serious sleuthing. See you around, Oscar. Let us know what you find. I will. So, that's Oscar. Any other ideas? Let's go check out the diner. Good idea. Folks tend to congregate there. Maybe we'll run into someone who's seen Stella. Here's hoping Winnie doesn't try to rope me into clocking in early. It feels like you've walked into a private meeting. The back booth is full of miners, and they seem to be they're having what seems to be an intense discussion. Their expressions gravely serious. I know that you are talking about the strike against my cousin, and that is your business and her business. I am here to find Stella. What's going on? There's a strike up at the mines. They made the diner the base of operations. When you asked for the morning off, I didn't think you'd be showing up with friends. Sorry, Aunt Winnie. Stella's gone missing, and I've been helping these two track her down. You haven't seen her, have you? Don't you apologize now, and I can't say I have. Should I be worried about her? I hope not. We're not interrupting anything here, are we? Of course not. Any paying customer is welcome. Long as you aren't about to step on anybody's toes or cause a fuss. The miners in back were too engaged in conversation to notice you enter, and instead of speaking in hushed voices, argue with each other loudly enough for you to easily overhear. Sure, the shift schedules are tough, and sure, we don't get enough time off for me to see my family as often as I like, but this is the best job I can get right now. Listen, kid, you're only a year or so into this gig. Trust me, the longer it goes on, the more it sucks the life out of you. At first, you're just unhappy, but you think you can weather it till you find something better. Paycheck's a paycheck, I get it. But the next thing you know, you've lost years of your life to a company that doesn't give a solitary shit about you, that uses up every free second it can to suck out of its workers and pays us just enough to survive, but not so much that we can ever save enough to get the hell out. Zax, we could get fired for this. I really need the paycheck. My sister needs the paycheck. I'm the only reason she can afford her tuition right now. I can't get fired. And this job still has its perks, like the company housing. I can't afford my own place and send money back home. I don't know where I would live if I didn't have this job. Right, the company housing. How generous of the big boss to put you up in a company-owned shack that ain't had proper maintenance done in decades. You know she uses that housing as an excuse to pay us less. And the company housing means that almost nobody in this whole damn town owns the place they live. It's why the Scarlets keep getting away with whatever they want. Max, we don't have the numbers, man. You know this is risky. Riskier than most of us can afford. We would have the numbers if y'all would stand with me and not let management scare tactics get to you. It's not scare tactics. People like her now. That woman ran into a collapsing coal mine and saved 3 children from being buried alive. I feel you, I really do, but how are we supposed to organize a strike against a town hero? Are you trying to tell me the mine collapsing less than 2 days ago is why you don't want to strike? It's bad time, Zax. It's always a bad time, Baker. It doesn't matter whose name is on the deed for the place. Without us, there is no mine. We've got him against the ropes. We can't back down now or they'll come out swinging. I'm going to let them have that one on this playthrough because I just want to find Stella. Hey, have any of you seen Stella? She's missing. The miners turn towards the doorway, all eyes glaring at you in unison. YouTuber? We ain't seen her. Harrison's voice drops to a barely audible mumble. She's okay. I guess we should get going. You turn and leave the diner, Avery and Kanika trailing close behind you. Still no sign of Stella. We should check out the church. The church? Why? I see what you're thinking. Stella was confronted with evidence of the afterlife, so she might try getting into all that religious stuff. It's worth checking out. I think we'd be barking up the wrong tree, but I guess you're right. There's no point in not being thorough. I wouldn't mind stocking up on some holy water while we're there too. Seems like a good idea to cover all our bases at this point. I don't think Baptists do the holy water thing, but I'm sure Pastor Daniel would pretend to bless some water if it meant keeping us around a little longer. That's good enough for me. Let's not linger, though. I don't want him thinking we're possible converts. Huh. I grew up Southern Baptist. Kanika leads the way, taking you up the gradual slope towards the church. You know, I've lived here for a few years now, and I've never actually been to the church. That's probably for a good reason. Where is that weirdo? My, 4 visitors at once? On a Thursday? This is unprecedented. There are only 3 of us. Oh no, were we followed by a ditchling? Were we followed by Wayne? Sup, old people? Oh, it's just Zane. What are you doing here? All the glimpses of death I had in the past 2 days have forced me into the midst of an existential crisis, my dudes. I wanted to see if faith held any answers for me. Alas, I have not yet found the solace I seek. Give it time, Zane. Sometimes takes a while for the Lord to work his way into your heart, but when he does, you won't regret letting him in. Be sure to look over those pamphlets I gave you, and of course, I'm always here if you need to talk. Sure thing, Pastor D. Peace, y'all. Anyway, we're looking for Stella. She wandered off last night and no one has seen her since. Starting to get pretty worried. We hoped maybe you or Janie had seen her. I can't speak for Janie, but I'm afraid I've seen neither hide nor hair of Stella. If you'd like to talk to my wife, she's just over by the alpacas. Though, Vinny, I was hoping we might be able to talk in private. What do you have to say to her that you can't say in front of us? Please, if you don't mind, this is a personal matter. It's alright, we can get the juicy details later. I'd rather folks not pry on this. I know how rumors get started. Okay, I'm happy to talk to him. You're sure? I guess we'll leave you to it while we check in with Janie. We'll be right over by that fence that's conveniently in your line of sight, okay? See you in a minute. Your friends head off towards Janie and the alpacas, leaving you alone with the nervous pastor. And I believe this is where we're going to pick up next week. Thank you everyone for joining us this Friday. I hope you are having a fantastic start of your weekend, or a fantastic start of your work week, given how that's going to go for you. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe. Are you playing Scarlet Hollow? Are you thinking about it? What traits did you get? Would you speak to Pastor Daniel alone? At any rate, I will see you all on Monday with more Secret World Legends, and on Wednesday with Dredge. Bye!